Hello, hello, and welcome back, my friends. So I am going to be I'm going to be doing a little bit of a talking head style video today. If you are not interested, I think maybe next week I'll do another montage video. But I mean, if you're here, you're interested. You love this kind of stuff. Basically, in today's video, I want to talk about like an idea that I've had, and I've had this idea for so long and I've constantly fleshed it out. And I don't know if you guys have had ideas before that you think are so amazing. You're like, oh my god, best idea fucking ever. And then turns out, you hide it, you don't tell anyone, you keep it really mysterious and secretive because you're like, this idea is worth $1 million. I also, just so you know, I don't have my tripod here, so it's going to be a bit of a shaky cam video. I'll see if I can fix it in post processing. But, you have these ideas. I don't know if everyone has them, so please let me know if it's just a me thing. I don't think it is. But I've had a lot of them over the years. And if I had my computer here, I could look at the different ideas that I've had and I could tell you all of them. But I think we'll just go with one, which is the main one I've been working on for so many years. And I've fleshed it out quite a bit, but I doubt that I'll ever be able to make it. And so I want to share it in case someone who's watching this ends up having way more like work prowess than I do and is able to make it happen. So essentially, I'll start off with a story so that you know what you're getting into. When I was in high school, I think it was maybe Thanksgiving or something like this. We were sitting at the Thanksgiving table and I was talking to someone there. It was the mother of my stepbrother. And I was explaining to her this amazing idea I had. And it goes a little something like this. So it's a briefcase. And inside, when you open the briefcase, it's got a screen and on like the one half, and on the other half it's got a keyboard, so you can easily close it, you can easily walk around with it like a briefcase. And even maybe there's like this extension possibility where it has little legs where you can like make it stand you know And so I go into extreme detail on this crazy idea that I have, and I'm like, wow, isn't this so cool? As I'm explaining this to the mother of my stepbrother. I don't know, is there a word for that? Anyways, I explained it to her, and she pauses. She's listening. She was being really nice. She was listening to me, and then she says, "Well, isn't that just a laptop?" And I thought about it for a second, and I was like, "Am I?" I was like, "Am I fucking dumb right now?" Because it was just a laptop that I was explaining, and I don't know if it was the turkey making me feel tired and or the mac and cheese going to my head, but it was quite interesting to see that I spent 10 or 15 minutes explaining a laptop to her as if it was a cool brand new idea. Oh, that was embarrassing. So perhaps this idea that I'm going to tell you already exists. Perhaps I'm reinventing the wheel. Perhaps I'm explaining something. Yeah, as I said, that already exists. So the idea starts with this desire to sort of integrate everything into one place, an all in one style thing. You know how you have a brain, and inside your brain, you have all the things you need. You have your passwords, you have your memories, you got everything. You got your video game quotes, whatever. And we have our phones, which I would consider sort of like our second brain. Like we store a lot of information on here, and it's information that maybe our brain can't keep, like really long passwords or really complex passwords or, videos, and pictures and apps and whatever, banking apps. And so the idea is to have, if you don't know what gamification is, it's this idea to gamify life, make it turn into like a video game. And so my idea is to have an app that is sort of like an all in one, It's kind of got you as a main character, like you're the start page, and it shows you all of your skill trees, and it's got everything involved that you need. So when it comes to your stats, I guess, or like your, if you go to your creative stats, for example, then you can click on music and it goes to your Spotify and or something like this, or if it goes to, like, if you want to see your balance, like your cash balance, then you click on it, or it even, you don't even have to click on it. It just shows you all of the money you have and all the different bank accounts, something like this. And I just, I think it would be so cool to have all these things connected. And there would be this like daily quest where when you're living real life and you're trying to maintain habits, like, oh, okay, every day I'd like to cook breakfast, or every day I'd like to go work out. Some days you miss, and that's not bad, but some habits are much, much harder to maintain than others. And so then you are trying your hardest to, for example, for me, you're trying your hardest to go to the gym every other day. So instead of making it a hard habit that you're trying to force yourself into doing, it can be sort of like a daily quest. And so every morning on the day that you're supposed to go to the gym, you get this daily quest notification, and it says, defeat the dragon. And it tells you by going to the gym, you are defeating the difficult dragon that is so hard to defeat, something, something, something. And it really makes you role play, and it makes you feel like you're in a game world. Maybe there's even a reward at the end. Maybe there's some sort of like game element of randomness, because that is one thing that is very, very hard to replicate. Like, of course, life is quite random. But if you're trying to reward yourself, for example, with a random reward, I mean, your brain has biases and it only can select certain amount of things. So maybe the reward can just randomly select between great job, add $10 to a saving fund for new sneakers. That's your reward, because sneakers would help you. Hopefully, you can't hear that. Someone's driving by with a car. But sneakers would be such a positive reward because it benefits your workout. Maybe if you want to do running. Or maybe the reward is I don't know, like it can't be something that you are going to use anyways, like a protein bar or a protein shake, but maybe like something that's still a little bit healthy, but somewhat unhealthy, like some sort of candy bar, like low sugar candy bar. I don't know. So that's one example of how it would work, with these daily quests helping you with your habits and kind of motivating you to do things, because it would make it more fun. I don't know about you guys, but when I was a kid and I played video games, I could spend hours cutting down trees just because I knew that when I leveled up, there would be da 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 da, a little bit of noise and fireworks above my head. And maybe that's bad. Maybe that is like somehow addicting, but wouldn't it be kind of awesome to be addicted to life? I find that a lot of people, they become addicted to social media, they become addicted to all these like it's kind of like these slot machines for your brain, like TikTok, you're scrolling, it's like this instant gratification. Why not use that in a way to make your life better? And so, okay, that's sort of part one. It's going to be a bit scattered, this idea. But what about, we have all these chatbots, we have these girlfriend chatbots, we have these therapist chatbots. With the like advent of AI, it has been so easy, and there have been so many chatbots that have come out, and they can be anyone pretty much. And it kind of, maybe it sounds like you're talking to a chatbot, but it sounds more realistic than talking to, for example, I don't know, the automated responses. If you say, "Hey, how are you doing?" it can only give you five different responses. Like for example, in Pokemon, when you're playing on the Game Boy, I was playing Pokemon Fire Red. I talk to one of the characters, and they say, "Wow, my Weedle sure is strong." And then I talk to him again, and he says, "I really love bug Pokemon." And then I talk to him again, and he says, "Wow, my Weedle sure is strong." So they only have a set amount of dialogue they can give you. But with AI, now they can be more varied and they can give you more responses. And that's okay if they sound a little bit like a computer because, da 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 da, next part, NPCs, so non player characters. So I would want to introduce a bunch of different non player characters that are specific to each person. So I've said it before, everyone is different. In the way that I learn, I think if I had, okay, we'll come back to that because I don't really know my way of learning, but some people, if their parent tells them what to do, they are going to do it, like they are very reliant or very, they listen to their parents really well. Okay, so what about the people that listen to their friends really well? Their parents, they say, I don't want to listen to them. So they never actually do what their parents tell them, but they listen to what their friends say. Or maybe a guidance counselor, or, all these different characters, or maybe your spirit animal. Maybe for me, I would want, I wouldn't even want a person. I would want like a guideline, where it's this all-knowing being that gives you an outline of what you should be doing and how it will help you, etc. And so the idea was that this character, you would pick your character. Well, let's start a little bit further back. You would take an exam for the first, like you open the app and you're first greeted by a quiz. And so the quiz is all about yourself, how you learn, how you're motivated, what you think helps you and what you think motivates you. And it'll ask a bunch of different questions. Should be very short, around 5 minutes. And then it'll create a character for you. It would be unique to you. It would have it would design itself. I mean, this would be a perfect use of AI, right? Because then it would make very similar things maybe, but it could create a completely new character for you. It would look completely unique. And then it would also have a unique way of talking. It would talk like it were your friend or your parent. And so then this is your guide. They would be called the guide, I think. And they would motivate you. They would tell you, like, they would be like the notification bar. Except the notification bar is really easy to swipe away. I think Duolingo did a really, really good job with how they introduced the different characters and they also gave them all little attitudes. So, for example, I guess I'll call her the emo girl. When I was about to miss my Duolingo streak, then she would say, "Bro, you're gonna miss your Duolingo streak, but I don't care. It's like whatever if you lose your 300 days. And so then sometimes that would motivate me. And they have a bunch of different characters, and I think there's some sort of like learning behavior between which characters it shows you because of based on when you click the notification. But all these things could be implemented, right? And so this character would talk to you. This character would help you decide how to motivate you and benefit your life. For example, if your to-do list would be in this app as well. And so let's say you're so excited on this one day and you write 20 different to-dos. And on the previous 10 days, you've only managed to do 5 to-dos on average out of X amount of to-dos you've written. And I mean, you can also value each to do with like easy, medium, hard, how long it takes, stuff like this. And then your guide can say, hey, I'll go with my name. Hey, Johnny, I've noticed that you put a lot of to dos today. And I know that you get quite disappointed if you don't get through all of your to dos. So, how about we take the highest priority ones and we move all the other ones to a different day? And so then it kind of like it's this responsible person who kind of like guides. I mean, I'm saying the same thing over again. It's a guide, like they will be designed to psychologically, there's different ways how humans work. There's behavioral psychology that explains some things. There's all sorts of different ways to understand and like, I mean, intrinsic, extrinsic motivation, all this kind of stuff. And so some sort of machine learning algorithm can, through a couple weeks, couple months of working with you, can understand how you tick and really work on making your life better. It motivates you, it sets up rewards for you, and it really makes life addicting. And it shouldn't be addicting in the way that it's about completing tasks. So then the person just makes a bunch of tasks that are easy to do. It should be more about developing oneself as a person. So maybe every day the guide also gives you a little quote or prompts you to write in a journal, it asks you what you are grateful for, all these different things that can really benefit you as a person. And it also can be quite random. So, like, oh shit. It can say, for example, hey, normally today you would do this workout, but let's jazz it up. I have this special workout program just for you. Do you want to try it out? Because even the strongest person who is okay with doing the same thing over and over and over and over again can lose motivation. Maybe the guide will understand if you are the type of person who can do the same thing over and over and over again, but it can also understand if you're someone who needs variation. So, for example, for me, when I was in middle school and high school, I ate the exact same lunch with minor variations every single day for lunch. I had a meat and cheese sandwich with a box of fruits and one snack. That's what I ate for 8 years, for school lunches. And I never got tired of it, I really enjoyed it. But that's because there was those slight variations, maybe there was a bit of randomness too, my mom on my birthday would put in an extra special snack, or my mom would put different fruits in for me, or I mean, I made my lunches, but maybe she snuck a little note in, these little tiny variations where if you think about, hey, mom, can you put a note in? It's not as special, the little reward tingles in your brain of being excited, they don't go off because you decided to make that happen. But a guide doesn't have to tell you everything it's trying to do. And so if you are doing this random workout and then it gives you a random reward, it feels good, And then you start living to do more things because you're interested to see what randomly happens. Now, I know I'm explaining real life. So, when you go outside, random stuff happens. When you go to the gym, random stuff happens. But I think we're in an era where this generation is getting trapped by social media because it just is too stimulating. Life is understimulating in comparison. There is also a huge part of it, which is social isolation. A lot of reasons why people love these social medias is because of the social isolation that has been on an uprise, Like a lot of people don't have a person to talk to. They don't have a person to confide in. Now, there would be this app. And there would be a guide who it would be a chatbot. So sometimes you can talk to it. Sometimes you can say, "Hey, I've been feeling like this. I've been feeling demotivated. I really like maybe the guide says, "Oh, today is your workout. You shouldn't miss it. Right now is the perfect time before you get tired." Something like this. And you open the chat box with the guide and you say, "Wow, I am really not motivated." And then it tries to cheer you up, it tries to motivate you, and maybe you can talk about, I don't know, like today this happened at school, and or today this happened at work, and it just was really terrible. Now, it's not a replacement for a friend. It's a temporary solution for a broken society. So, of course, it will constantly motivate you to make new friends if that's a problem you face. It'll teach you how to be social. It'll recognize that you're struggling, and it will work towards making your life more powerful outside of the app. It is a tool. And just as our phones were built to be tools to help us, they have strayed very, very far from that and are now these attention seeking devices that constantly buzz, constantly pull at your attention to make you spend so much time wasting your life, you know? And so I find that this it's it would just be so insanely amazing if you had this little guide who is like a person but isn't one. They would be able to answer questions where others would feel uncomfortable. You could grow through it, you know? And there would be a lot of different aspects to this. I think I wrote it down, and maybe I can write all my notes in the description for you guys. But just in general, I think this would be an incredible idea. The issue would be it would have to be created by someone who is not looking to monetize people's attention as per always. Um, like, I don't know. This is such a powerful, in my mind, tell me if I'm wrong, but this could be such a powerful idea that if the wrong person makes it, it could be just as detrimental as TikTok and YouTube and all these other attention grabbing apps. Now, for some people, they can survive it, you know? Some people can gamble and they don't get affected. But for a lot of people, they get sucked into that and so it's really important to not let people who profit off of gambling create this kind of app. Or, I mean, the hope would be a lot of different people make this app so that we have lots of different options, right? So if one goes down, you still have other ones to go to. But it's also important to not support the people that make the apps or this app version in a terrible way, you know. So maybe I'm going beyond the idea now. Um, I just it would be so cool, you know. And I think I'll leave it at that for now. And if you guys are interested, I can make another video where I go in full depth about the process I went through in making, like coming up with the idea and all of my brainstorming and all the different things on it. But for now, I think that'll be it for me for this little brain dump. I'm going to call this series a brain dump because it's kind of that, you know, just throwing out what I've been thinking about and letting you guys do what you want with it. Yeah, so in the end, it would take so much work because you need to develop the app, you would need to develop all these characters, you would need to integrate all the different parts. And I know I'm saying a bunch of buzzwords, but I think it would be so very cool to take all the elements of which have been recently coming out and using it for the benefit of humanity. So, let me know what you guys think about this idea. I think that'll be all for now, and I'll see you next Saturday, maybe. I don't know if I'm doing the Saturday videos, but I'll try. Okay, peace out.